up, midnight tokers, afternoon hailers, and AM hookah smokers? This is the AM Hookah Podcast. We are a weekly podcast every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Central Time, talking about the world of hookah right here on YouTube and on Twitch. I am the M in the AM, and joined with me, as always, is the guy who can load a ball with his eyes closed and his hands tied behind his back. Adrian, how are you doing this week, my friend?
Every week, it gets more unbelievable, the things you say about my person.
I think you can do it.
Don't stop.
I believe in it.
I could do it. I'm going to use my teeth and an oyster fork. I'm doing outstanding. Hanging out, smoking. Podcast is back. I guess you were here last time. I'm still bummed out from that one podcast I did without you. Bracken was here to fill that in, thankfully. But today we've got me, you, which is two people, and then there's another one.
We do. This week we are joined by the doctor is in the house. We are joined by Dr.Noobsauce himself, Chris, a member of the hookah community, a friend of the show. He's on Twitch gaming, and he loves to smoke hookah. He's a New York native and an all-around good guy. Thank you so much for joining us this week. How are you doing, Chris?
Good. Just relaxing. Thank you guys for having me on. This is actually the first time we've all been on a podcast. Well, on your side, you know.
Yeah, you've actually hosted me before on the classroom on Hookah University. I really hope that makes a comeback here sooner than later, because I really enjoyed watching the show as much as I enjoyed also being a part of the show. But this is the first time that myself, Adrian, and now Chris is here on the AM Hookah Podcast. You actually filled in for me on multiple occasions that I was unable to make the show. So, I mean, I've told you thank you before, but I want to do it here on the show so everyone sees it and knows that it's real. But thank you for filling in. Appreciate it very much.
Which you didn't hear. He was fuck mouthing me before. He was like, you know what? We should have got someone else.
Never.
You were terrible.
That sounds right.
No, never, ever would I ever do that. So let's go ahead and look and see who's all in the chat real quick. We got Jeremy Berg, big guy from Hookah University, obviously chilling and hanging out. We appreciate it. Whenever he stops by, we got the original superfan. Akeem is here as well. And plenty of other people. Raul, we got Captain Wetbeard in the chat. Bracken is here as well. He's helping us monitor our chat actually quite a bit. So is Captain Wetbeard. So if you guys got a question that you'd like to ask either Chris or something in regards to the show, please make sure you do that by just dropping a couple of question marks to it. For today's topic, we're going to be talking about a couple of interesting things. We're going to be talking about hazy bowls just ever so briefly. We're going to be talking about Twitch gaming with Mr. Twitch Gaming himself, and then a little bit of hookah community talk as well. But let's go ahead and get into the show as we normally do and talk about what it is that we are smoking. If you'd like to know what it is we are smoking, you can go ahead and drop the ! Smoke command down there right away, and you will be able to find out instantly what we are smoking. But if you are too lazy to do that, let's go ahead and talk about it. Adrian, what are you smoking this week?
This week, I'm smoking Azure Dark, Sweet Summer Sun. I was asking you before we actually started the podcast how you pack your Azure, and there was a reason for that. So real quick before I get into that setup, surprise, white net pair, matching hose, 80 feet resurrection on top at the Provost, 3 flaps. Lid is partially on. I've decided to pack Azure Dark for the last couple of days like I packed Tangiers.
How's that been coming out?
Full on dense. A lot of the harshness is cut back, and you get a wild head buzz. I actually like it quite a bit. The flavor doesn't seem to be diminished at all, although I think it takes down the throat hit quite a bit. So I actually enjoy it a lot, and I think that if people haven't tried that, they should try that.
Very, very nice.
Also, pairing passion fruit liqueur.
What is that?
It's our unofficial sponsorship that we have.
I just like LaCroix a lot, and I bring it into the show where it doesn't belong.
Is it alcoholic?
No, man, it's just the sparkling water with 0 added fake or real sweeteners.
You could definitely throw in some vodka, and I bet you that would taste really good, though. Get those clear liquids going, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Chris, it
What
looks
about
like...
you, Matt?
Well, okay, you want to jump to me? That's fine.
No, go to Chris. I don't even care.
Well, I was going to say, Chris, because it looks like you're smoking out of a VZ Pro, I believe is what you're actually using. And I am super interested in these hookahs. I think they look fantastic. You have me terrified with you picking it up like that. No joke.
Well, yeah, it is a little bit crazy to be doing that, but it does have a locking mechanism at the bottom. I polished it up a little bit, and I have it on a Lux base. And it's nice. It's
Me too.
It works well. It's a nice open pipe. The only problem when you buy a VZ Pro, I mean not VZ Pro, the old school VZ with the copper and all that is trying to keep it clean and make it presentable. So that's the only challenge. But I really like this pipe. It's really good. My girlfriend got it for me for Christmas, my birthday, or 1 year anniversary. One of the two. One of the three. Sorry.
That's pretty fantastic. What do you actually have inside your hookah that you're actually smoking?
Okay, so recently I've been on I've been on like a Don Bowl kick where like I've been just throwing stuff in Don Bowls, seeing how it smokes, and I gotta say the Don Bowl right now is probably one of my favorite bowls for the past like 2 weeks. I just when you get in that rotation, you just happen to keep using the same bowl, even if it's dirty, you're gonna go to the sink and clean it just because you're getting such great sessions out of it. So right now I'm smoking a little bit old school here. I went with new tobaccos, strong mint, because I found it in my shelf of miscellaneous stuff over there. I was like, you know what? I haven't tried this in a while. And then I've been on a kick with peach cobbler from Tangiers because it mixes really well with a lot of different flavors. But yeah, that's what I'm smoking right now. And I just threw it in there, as Hookah John would say. Just throw it in there, poke some holes, and boom, we got magic.
That's fantastic. I'm assuming that the Don Bowl that you're using is the Turkish, or is it the Evil? Which one of the Don Bowls do you really like to use?
This one is it's the cowboy one. It's the one with where they came out with I guess they like went a little bit crazy with the designs, and they have like I forgot what it's called. It's not called the cowboy. I think it's called Outlaw. I think it's called the Outlaw Bowl, and it has a skull and crossbones with two guns facing up towards the ridge, and it's a really nice bowl. I got it from Sky Hookah Distribution. When they first got these in, they were like, "Hey, we know you like bowls. I think we want you to check this out." I checked it out. I wasn't crazy about it. I put it to the side because I was smoking my alpaca bowls and all these other bowls. And then I just recently, you know what? Let me give this a shot again, and I'm thoroughly in love with it. And I know someone says, Rami says, I've never smoked new tobacco, and you're like with 95% of the population that's never smoked new tobacco. I think they have a couple good flavors. They're not all great, just like a lot of tobacco companies. But I mean, the new tobacco mint is it does it for me.
I've actually heard a lot of really good things about the new tobacco mint, both that strong mint, and I think it's called the organic mint as well. And I'm a fan of mints, so like it's something that I've always wanted to try, but there's a couple people in the different groups and stuff that have also said positive things about it, so it's something that I've definitely been interested in trying as well. So I don't know, one of these days I'll definitely have to get it, but I have to say, when it comes to those kind of bizarre bowls that Don makes, I've never been a big fan of like those like overly artistic looking bowls, just because I think they kind of look... I think they kind of look chintzy or kind of like tacky in some way. And that's just like, I don't know why it is, but like to me, those kinds of looks have never been really appealing to me. But Don Bowl does have a couple of them that I do think look kind of cool, and I wouldn't mind like figuring out a way to get them to work with like my setup and stuff like that. Well,
there's no difference between the smoking out of the Don Outlaw here or smoking out of like a Don Evil or a Don Turkish. They all do like the same thing. If you want a little bit more flair with a little bit of more of like a white clay look, you would go for this bowl. But they're all priced the same from what I know. The only main difference when it comes to Don bowls would be the funnels that they have. It's a little bit different.
That's interesting. I'm glad that you don't have to pay a little bit extra for that artisan look to it. I think that's a good thing. I'd hate to pay more for something that just has a look to it and not any added functionality in some way. All right, so what I'm actually smoking is I'm using my McLeod hookah that I got recently through THL. They do this thing called the THL Trainers. It's something that I'm a part of, and I'm testing out this hookah, using it quite a bit. It's the Mist Dezen hookah, which actually sounds a lot like Matt Dezen, so I just renamed it the Matt Dezen pipe, basically. And I've been really enjoying it. It has a really nice big open draw. I got it on my KM Jumbo vase that I've been really enjoying. I just recently got it. I haven't had a KM Jumbo in years, so I've really liked having this as well. Well,
Matt, in all fairness, me and Adrian showed you ours.
What you're? Oh yeah. Well, mine's all the way over here. I'd have to reach in and bring it all the way over here. I'm not gonna mess with that. I'm sorry. I need to get it set up so it's just right behind me, like you guys, all professional and good looking.
Adrian, what's the term that I like to use? Wah.
Hold on. What about this? Does this work? Does this constitute? You guys can see all that stuff over there.
That's all I wanted.
There you go.
So from my perspective, I see a green screen behind you, but I just think you broke the immersion. Now everyone knows you're not in a giant yellow brick room.
Yeah. Sorry to break the illusion. Sorry to make it known and everything, but yeah, sadly it is. But inside my bowl that I'm actually smoking I'm smoking some Azure tobacco as well. I'm doing a mix of the Cactus Blast and the Cherry Muffin with a sprinkle of the Hipster Mint. It's been a mix that I've really been enjoying quite a bit. I've been packing my Azures, actually very normal pack is what I've been doing with it, especially when I mix it with some other stuff. That's how I've been normally doing it, but I'm definitely going to try the Tangiers pack on it as well to see exactly what that produces. I think
it behaves very similar to Tangiers when you pack it that way.
Is it possible we can make a new pack right here, like a gravity pack, where you just like drop it in and let gravity do the fucking packing mechanism, and just put foil over it and see how it smokes?
I feel
gravity pack.
I feel like that's the throw it in pack, though. I feel like that might be the Hookah John throw it in there pack. Maybe I'm wrong. Is that different in some way?
Maybe it's a 2019 term, gravity pack. It's catching on. It's gaining a lot of traction in Europe right now. So I'm just saying we're gonna bring it back.
Okay. Hashtag gravity pack. That's what we're doing right now. Hashtag gravity pack. Yep. Get whatever you're smoking, anything at all, and just gravity. Let gravity do its work.
Really quick, Rose F Death. Just saw you sub to my channel. Finally, thank you so much. I saw that in my sub box. I was like, whoa! I thought this guy was subbed to me already. I just saw him in the chat. I thought I'd give him a little shout out.
Rose F Death is actually waiting for some new stuff to arrive in. I don't know when it's going to get there, but he made an order and he was talking to me about some of the things. He said, what do you think about this Alfacher cherry? And I said, be careful because it may just taste like cherry medicine. And he's like, oh, I'm going to stay far away from that. That does not sound good at all. I said, you got a 50-50 chance you're either going to really like it or you're going to be brought back to your childhood and hate it. I've never been a fan of it.
In all fairness, it's very hard to do a cherry flavor. I think cherry muffin is probably one of, if not the best cherry flavor that does it right.
I really like it. Even though you can taste like that chemical kind of taste to it and stuff like that, I think that it still has a very, very good cherry taste to it. And then the muffins that Azure actually does, I think are really fantastic. Like they have this really unique way of like, it's super chemically, it's super like, I don't know, like that what you're smoking is not real, but it's so good because it works.
I don't know how they do it. It's kind of like a little bit of a mind fuck. Can I say fuck on this?
You can
Is
go
fuck
right
allowed?
ahead.
Can I say fuck? Yeah, I can say fuck, right? I'm not going to be muted. Okay, so fuck it. Let's just say when you smoke Azure, I'm gonna say I think I like the blonde cherry muffin a little bit better than the dark cherry muffin. That I might be in a minority there, but that cherryness that you get with that muffin, like you're biting into dough at the end, is mind blowing because I'm like, okay, I understand the concept of how they mix these flavors together and they do all this stuff, but I don't know how they make this flavor happen. I don't know how this. It's literally they have someone from Magic Wand just making this flavor, and it's the best cherry muffin flavor.
I had the lemon muffin from Azure and their blonde line. I was like, how did they? What?
Yeah, I don't know how you artificially like make a dough taste like a muffin flavor. How?
It's like that one chip company that has what is it? Is it Lay's or I don't know which one it is, but they do like the waffles and chicken flavor and stuff like that. And as you're eating it, it actually tastes like waffles and chicken, and you're like, this is not good, but it's fucking delicious. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy the way that it actually works. I don't even know what to say about it other than that. Basically.
Well, what happened was that Lay's actually did a worldwide search, and they just got a bunch of stoners to do their marketing and all their research and R&D, and they let the stoners run wild. I mean, once you have like a what is it? The hot sauce flavor? What is the hot sauce they have? Once you have that going in there, it's game on, girl.
Yeah, I'm a pretty big fan of most of those flavors that I've tried from them as well. So, all right, let's go ahead and talk about some other stuff. Obviously, all three of us were all over the internet when it comes to actually producing videos and stuff like that. Adrian does some really cool stuff on his channel. I don't have anything new that I want to talk about, but what do you have going up new recently for your channel, Adrian?
What's come out since the last podcast? We've got, let me think. Definitely the Alfacher vanilla review, I think, is the most recent thing I've put out.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fun one. I kind of just did whatever I wanted for that review. So if you want to hopefully laugh or cringe, one of the two, go check that review out. And then actually I saw Rami was actually in the chat earlier. I'm actually smoking some of the tobacco I got from a package from him from over at High Desert Smoke over in Yucca Valley, California. If you're in California, you should go there because this guy sent me some stuff. And if that's what he sells, it's a good shop. But I've got some reviews on that stuff coming out pretty shortly. I think I'm going to start off with some of the Azure Dark stuff and then do some Tangier stuff too. I haven't touched Tangiers on my channel yet. for a lot of
need to.
reasons.
I can't wait to
intimidating.
see you start doing some reviews on Tangiers. I'd love to hear your takes on a lot of their flavors. I want to get a review right now from Dr.Noobsauce about that peach cobbler because, honestly, peach cobbler is one of my all-time favorite Tangiers flavors. So I want to hear what you have to say about it. Give us your 1-minute review on this flavor.
You know damn well I don't do reviews anymore. I'm crazy. You off your rock.
I'm trying to get you out of retirement.
I don't know. It's just a side note, the whole review thing. I just somehow along the way I fell out of love with doing it and I just switched over. I don't know, it's just I got burnt out or I went too hard too quickly, but I don't know how you guys keep doing it, especially Adrian, where I look every time I check my YouTube app, there's another fucking video. I don't know how he does it. I believe that you have an army of people working at you for free, and you're just feeding them the scraps from your bowls.
Not free. Because,
I don't know how you do it, man. That's for anyone who doesn't know the time and effort it takes into producing videos and making a script and making sure it's correct and it being up to your own standards. It's very impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic stuff.
And Adrian, we've talked
question.
about this, and you know exactly what I mean. It's fucking hard work that you guys do,
But if hopefully I don't fall out of it. Like if I ever feel the same way Noobsauce does, you might see me drop off too. But I'm still in love with doing it, so we'll see how long that lasts. Yeah. Hopefully a long time.
Chris, you kind of just dodged my complete question. I just want to know what you think about peach cobbler. Just tell me what you think.
What you're doing, it's a very professional move I just did there, and you have to call me out on it. So peach cobbler is it's very. The thing is like this. It's not anything different from other peach flavors. But I think the biggest difference is that it holds very well under the amount of heat that I put and the longevity. So I get about 2 hours to an hour and a half good with flavor, with no flavor loss. And for me, when I'm playing games or I'm talking on hangs or I'm doing a bunch of editing stuff, that's fantastic. That's what I want. I don't have to worry about, it has too much heat, because the peach cobbler just, I don't know if it's just because it's Tangiers, but it can handle great amount of heat. And I smoke with 4 coals. Usually Redbox Superior, or right now I'm using 5 coals of flats from Hookah John because I am a goddamn monster.
Crazy guy with this heat. I smoked 1 hit of the bowl that he prepared when we were in Vegas, and I was like, oh my God, how do you do that? There was so much heat on it. He sits there and he's just like, it's great, I love it, wonderful, yeah. New York, fuck, yeah. What? I'm like, okay, whatever, Chris, you're crazy.
You got me down perfect.
I've been working on it. I don't know if you could tell or not. Okay, so I don't have any new videos that I want to talk about right now. I have some stuff that I'm preparing, getting ready and stuff. But I do want to talk about your Twitch channel. Obviously, you do Twitch. You do a lot of stuff live on there, and then you repost it on YouTube as well. If you could, just break down your Twitch channel a little bit for us and let people know exactly what you like to do over there.
Well, a little bullshit history. Before I went to YouTube, I was a Twitch streamer. And Twitch became a very hard platform for, I guess, people who didn't have that many views at the time to make their way. Now it's changed up a little bit different. So I went to YouTube, and I was like, you know what? I was looking around. I was like, what do I love? What do I like doing? I love editing videos, and I like smoking hookah. And I've seen a bunch of videos, and I was like, you know what? I think I could try to do this. I have something to add, or at least I can be somewhat entertaining. And I went that avenue. I did a bunch of videos, a bunch of reviews for flavors, hoses, coals, which was the biggest mistake ever. Don't review coals, ladies and gentlemen. Don't do it. And then I guess I got a little bit burnt out, so I went back to Twitch. I'm on Twitch now, full time. I'm gonna have a nice setup, new monitor, all this new shit, nice camera, and I've been playing Resident Evil 2. And I know you guys know about Resident Evil. Everyone in our age demographic knows about Resident Evil, and it just came out, just re-released. So I'm playing Resident Evil 2. I'm going to be playing Anthem. I'm going to be playing Division 2. I'm going to be playing a bunch of other games that come out, and I think it's just more fun. Everything we do with the hangs and stuff, we play games with our friends and stuff. It's just about hanging out together, smoking some hookah, and that's what my Twitch channel is about. People can feel real comfortable coming into the Twitch stream. I'm smoking hookah. If you have any questions, I can answer them. Twitch.tv/Dr.Noobsauce. I try to stream more regularly. It's kind of like what you guys do with the Gamecast stuff. You just try to relax, because everything else is pretty stressful. Work is stressful. doing all these production videos and getting guests and stuff, that's hectic. But gaming and smoking hookah is a lot of fun for me. So right now, that's where I'm at.
That's awesome. Yeah, we do have our own little game cast that we do. Me and Adrian kind of alternate who's doing what. In the future, though, we need to get all of us on together and play something that we can all with one another. Duck Game is a great game. We got to get Duck Game going because it is fantastic. Adrian finally saw the light, and he sees what that's all about. Am I right, Adrian?
Duck Game's good, yeah. You got to play with the controller, though.
I did not have a controller for the longest time, and I started to like get good with the keyboard, and now I finally got a controller that I use.
You know who also plays Duck Game? King Frank, Grand General of Fucktown. I beat his ass several times. So if you want to say what I'm the doctor of whooping that motherfucking ass up and down in Duck Game. Come at me with a fucking laser, bro. I'm right here all day.
Oh man, that's great! I can't wait. We gotta get you on there, Frank, and I'll just stream just you two fighting each other, and that'll be it. That'll be all we do. We actually got a message inside a chat. It looks like from Mark. It says, "I have a jumbo base on my Sheikah, but I find myself purging a lot because of how much smoke it contains. Much different when I have the same bowl on a regular base. Am I doing something wrong? Thoughts?" So I would like to hear your guys' thoughts on this as well. I'll be honest. The first time I loaded my jumbo vase, I had my water level pretty far down, and I was noticing that I was getting a ton of smoke in there, more so than I had noticed in a long time, actually, and I did find myself purging a pretty good amount. This time that I loaded my jumbo vase, I actually put just a little bit more water than like I normally do for the most part, and I haven't noticed that happening nearly as much, so I think that it is just that amount of space that you have to kind of use to generate any sort of smoke inside of it. So if you want to help that at all, maybe add a little bit of water. You do got to be careful. You don't want to put too much that you get it up in your hoses or something like that. But to me, the best thing to do is just add a little bit more water. What do you guys think about jumbo vases?
Honestly, with jumbo bases, I've owned one. I've got rid of it. I think there's obviously they contain a lot of smoke. It's right in the name of the damn base. They're very airy. So like I feel like maybe you can get away with it on like a Sheikah or a KM, but I'm not about to put a jumbo base on something wide open because if it's already wide open, it tends to come across as quite airy. A lot like the Cloud Micro can be a bit of an airy smoke, and I don't like that. So I actually stay away from jumbo bases for that reason. But yeah, I think everything Matt just said checks out pretty well if you are going to try to utilize a jumbo base.
I just love the way it looks on this hookah. I just love it.
Yeah, jumbo bases do add that nice aesthetic look to it, but at the same time, they're not made for all hookahs because of the same problem. You gotta have like a gap where your hookah just cannot purge that smoke, or it can't get all of it out of there. And I think the only issue that's the biggest issue, but the thing you can use to kind of get out of that is what Matt's saying. So where the base tapers to the neck, you kind of just want to fill it up more with water so you have more volume of air when you purge to get it out of that purge. But ultimately, you're playing like a cat and mouse game with, is it too much water? I don't want to create my pipe being restricted more than it already is. So it's really, you got to just play with it. And then when you get it, mark a little line and you're good to go.
Yeah, two things. One, Matt, you forgot to add on the meth.
I know.
Get a Lux base for everything that fits a Lux base. I know Chris is using one. These things purge in one breath, no problem. I can't.
Yeah, I think when we all went to Chicago to see Sky Hookah, we were very impressed by the amount of water that you need for these hookahs. I mean, you could fill it up with like half a fucking bottle of water, like a plastic bottle of water. It's fantastic. As you saw, it works even on the VZ, which VZ comes with its own like teardrop base. But I found it in the Lux that it purges great and it smokes good. You get good clouds. I think the Lux is the way to go. Even I just recently purchased an Odin pipe, and because I really liked how it matches the Odin handle. And I found when I asked Gregory and Dimitri over in Sky Hookah, I was like, well, should I buy a Lux with this? And they're like, I think they thought that the stem was just a little bit too long for the Lux, because the Lux you can run into that issue if you have something maybe like a Regal that has a long stem. Mm-hmm. It might not fit properly, and you never want to buy a base and then realize, oh crap, my stem is too long for it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not my problem. I have a tiny stem. But anyway, but the Lux base works well with the Odin. It purges well. Yeah, man. I really think that you should at least pick up one Lux vase. I keep calling it a base, Lux vase, to try it out and see how it changes. Because I'm a firm advocate of, if you have a shitty vase and it's not working right, it might, and you're thinking, oh, this whole hookah sucks. It's not right. Change the base out, and you're gonna see a night and day difference in your smoking session. At least you should.
Very interesting. All right, guys. So before we move on any further, very quickly, we have a little bit of well, hold on. We have some breaking news. We got to talk about this. Okay, so I had to hold on a second. It's okay. Don't worry. I know you may not be prepared for this, Chris, but we got some breaking news we need to talk about real quick. Obviously, if you may not have heard, the AM Hookah Podcast has teamed up with THL, the Hookah Lounge. They have this gigantic lifestyle brand that they're building behind themselves. Really cool stuff going on, and including the huge New York event that's happening coming up in May. We got to talk about this, Adrian. Adrian, we got to talk about it.
Fine.
We have to. Are you ready for it?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, we're gonna get into it right now. Okay, you ready for this?
Uh-huh.
All right, here we go. All right, sorry about that, guys. We had some breaking news we had to cover real quick. I wanted to make sure we got all on the same page. THL, AM Hookah Podcast, we are teaming up. We are partners in crime. We are doing some crazy fun things. One of the first things that's going to be coming up is in May. It's going to be this gigantic, wonderful thing that's happening. It's going to be in New York. It's going to be this beautiful Hangouts gala event that's happening. The tickets are on sale right now, actually. You can go and get your tickets. I already got my ticket. I don't think Adrian is going to be able to attend, but Dr.Noobsauce, are you going to be at the New York event for THL?
Yeah, I will find the back door and sneak in.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
How I'm gonna go. No, but I think, Frank has been talking about doing something in New York, doing something in his backyard for so long, and I think when you think about the East Coast, the only thing we really have is Chicago, and that is a different animal from what Frank wanted to do, and he's been talking about. He's been real passionate about doing a meetup. Doing something for the community for quite a long time. And I think it's really, really awesome that someone's actually stepped up and put together a New York hookah meetup, because in New York it's very hard to find a place to do it. And he's gone out of his way and fronted a lot of this himself, if not all of it himself. And I think it's really cool. And I think it's a destination hookah meetup. If you can't make the Hookah Expo, which is the premier event, I think this is definitely something you want to put on your calendar and definitely attend, because it's cool, man. You come to New York, you see all the sites and stuff, see people in the community, that you've only talked to, and you can smoke with them and hang out with them. I think it's going to be a really cool event.
Yeah, I can't wait for it. The tickets are on sale right now. Like I said, there's only 29 tickets left on sale, so you need to get on that as quickly as possible. It is going to be on, I believe it's May 18th. I'm going to be there at least a day early. I'm going to be there the entire time. I'm going to do the tourist thing in New York and go look at all the different monuments and all the different sites and stuff like that. I'm probably going to crash at Dr. Noobsauce's house if he has a couch for me to sleep on. It's going to be a fun time. It really is. There you go.
Couch. This is the new AM Hookah Podcast couch. It can't fit Adrian, but it can fit half a mat, and it will have some pillows and stuff. I might even put like an AM Hookah Podcast shirt so he knows where he is after he's shit faced. Because I plan on getting you drunk a little bit while you're here, New York drunk. So we keep it classy.
Keep it classy. Okay, so that means I can keep my pants on. That's nice to know. Because Vegas drunk was a completely different kind of drunk. I mean, I'm lucky I didn't get too drunk when we were in Vegas, but they're two different places, so you get drunk in two different ways, basically. What's
great?
What's Dearborn drunk like, Adrian?
Blackout.
Just don't remember anything afterwards?
Yeah, no, we don't. It's not good.
Yeah, we have proof of that actually from the AM Hookah drunk cast that we did. Definitely just completely messed up.
Matt will get, Adrian will get like 3 belt drunk, and Adrian knows what that means.
With what has happened to Detroit, we just get blackout drunk whenever we can here in the metro area in Michigan.
That's pretty fantastic. All right, so let's go ahead and get into our other topics that we have. I wanted to talk about hazy bowls just for a little while. Obviously, there's been a lot of different things being said about them. I actually reached out in an effort to do the best job that we can here at the AM Hookah Podcast. I reached out to a lot of different people, and I got some quotes from some people that are in the industry, making bowls, doing some different things, and I have some quotes that I actually want to read off, and then we'll go into our own personal thoughts. So one of the first people that I reached out to is actually Brandon George from Stone Bowls, and asked him exactly what his thoughts were. The only quote that he said is, hey, you know what? Keep on shining, you pretty diamond. He has nothing but positive vibes and love to give these kinds of people. And I thought that was really cool. The next person I spoke to is actually John from Hookah John, getting a quote from him as well. He says, I don't know much about them. I looked at the website and they look familiar, kind of like bowls that I've already seen made before, something like a Relics or a Stone or a Mason and many other bowls, none of which I'm 100% familiar with himself. I don't see anything new. That is what John said from Hookah John, obviously, the maker of many, many famous bowls that are on the market today.
You got a quote on Nino that I really like too.
Go ahead and read this one, actually. Yeah, this is from Nino from Mason.
Yeah, I was going to interject because I'm pretty sure you're just about to talk for 20 minutes straight. And I'm done dealing with that, Matthew. Nino from Mason Bowl. I'm sure most of you are familiar with him. He's been on the podcast before. I quote, "This is a small online community. It's best for brands to differentiate themselves and add value. To be successful as a business owner, you must ask yourself, how does my product differentiate and add value to the consumer compared to what's already available on the market?"
I thought that was a really good way to kind of fit into what it is that Mason likes to do with all of his product releases. He has 3 different bowls that are on the market. Obviously, each one a little bit different from the other. The Helix being the most different compared to the Onyx and the Grand Onyx. And then he also sells other products as well from there. The next person that we reached out to and got a comment from was Val from B2 Hookah. You can check out their stuff, obviously, all over the place. If you don't know what a B2 Hookah is, go and look them up. They're very, very cool-looking pipes. He says, to be honest, I can't really put in a short quote of words, but my basic point is this. In every industry, there are bars being lifted and copies being made. Some people exceed the bars and make products which excel in some eyes, and it can be whatever in others. Being in such an opinionated industry where a lot of things are based on preference, products will always grow and evolve to one's personal preference. This should always create competition. But it should always be a healthy competition. Competition sparked by passion will always push creators to their limits. The great creators will always come out on top. So, when a situation like this happens, try to help the creator rather than bash them for their pricing, colors, mistakes, etc. Copies will come and go. Keep the communities knit and support each other and our products. This way we can grow as a community. I'm not saying that you should not have opinions. Opinions are always good. But do not bash or knock on someone's hustle just because you feel like it is needed. Take, for an example, B2. We took a lot of creative criticism and analyzed our fixes from our first batch to where we are today. This was always more community effort than it has become more it is today. Every man needs to put food on his table for his family. Don't be the guy that takes the food away. I thought that was very well worded and a wonderful quote from him, actually. The next one we have is actually from Omar from Alpaca Bowls. Adrian, if you want to take this one.
Yeah, absolutely. This is short and sweet, which I love. Omar from Alpaca, great dude. Bowls are made from most of the right materials, but lack some functional aesthetics. They look cool overall. I like Omar.
I do too. Once again, just positive vibes. He thinks they look cool and everything. Vahe is actually how you pronounce that from B2. I apologize. That was my inability to say names correctly. Vahe is how you actually say that. My apologies. We also got another comment, but it's really long, and I didn't get a chance to edit it. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to post this onto our AM Hookah group, and it is from Kyle Smith himself. It's a wonderfully written quote. It's just super, super long. Like, this is maybe like 5 This is really, really, really long. I don't want to.
Well, can you give us the gist of it? I think that comment might be one of the most valuable comments.
There's just so much there. There's so much meat and so much to unpack that I feel bad not giving it the full exposure. I'll read you the very last paragraph, I guess, just because obviously it kind of boils everything down a little bit. This is from Kyle Smith. This is his quote. I'll post the entire thing for everyone to read in the AM Hookah group, so you guys can go and check that out. I'd highly recommend going and checking out the AM Hookah group for a multitude of reasons besides this one right here, obviously. It says, I know I usually don't get this opinionated over things, not publicly, but Lucas is an earnest, hardworking guy. The dude is just trying to follow his passion the same way that Brandon and Omar and Nino and myself did. And he doesn't deserve to be served up like that by one of us. He comes to his defense in the fact that he says that he's not trying to rip anybody off. He's not trying to go about this the wrong way. He's doing what he can to make the best that he can do, basically. I think it's super well worded. There's a ton here to unpack, obviously, so I definitely want you guys to read it, and I definitely want to put it out there for you. But yeah, he comes from the point of just saying, you know what, this guy's not a bad guy, and I think that that's an important kind of place to put it. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the question over to you first, Chris. I don't know how familiar you are with these hazy bowls. If you have any kind of gut reactions or opinions that you want to let out.
Well, when I was reviewing, I was able to see a lot of different products, and a lot of different products are very similar. It is what it is. It happens, flavor profiles or whatnot. When it comes to, I guess, aesthetics and bowls, there's a certain level of creativity that's there. So, I mean, I love Brandon George. I don't think Brandon George is able to say anything bad about anyone. I think he's a cyborg with a chip in his brain, and that he's just like they set him on polite when they made him. I think Nino's thing would be Nino's a businessman, and if you ever met Nino, you would know this right off the bat. He's very protective of his IP, and as you should, you put a lot of time, you put a lot of effort. So if you see anyone with any type of similarity, especially you were first to market, you were the first one. Obviously, this bowl that you created with your hard money and effort, but we all know Nino is not someone who's out there in the garage making bowls. It seems like the guy from Hazy Bowls is the guy in the garage. So obviously he's going to be influenced. I mean, I think if I was a bowl creator and I see someone coming out with a bowl that looks similar to mine, I'd be like, oh man, like I'm going to get super defensive. I'd be like, he's copying my style. But at the same time, that means you're doing something incredibly right if people want to come over and try to copy your stuff. Now, when the whole thing about, the hookah industry is going to grow by competition, right? If you have a batch release and you're not able to meet the demands, and someone comes along and kind of copies your style and makes an inferior product, people are going to know. And they're going to be like, well, this isn't what I want. I'm going to go back to what I know. And they're going to go back to Mason. And they're going to go back and they'll wait for his releases. And they're going to wait 1, 2, 3 releases just to get that bowl because they know the product is what is to their standard. People shouldn't be intimidated by someone coming out of the woodworks and saying, hey, I'm creating a bowl and I'm releasing it. Yeah, it might look like yours, but it's not your bowl. It's maybe different material. It's different releases. Who knows? Maybe the guy from Hazy Bowl is only releasing like 10 bowls, Who knows? There's so many different things, but I think as a hookah community, we need to stop criticizing every new product that comes to market. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, oh, there's no innovation and there's no new products in the market, but at the same time, when stuff comes to market, you bash it. You're going to create a vortex of negativity, and we need to move away from that. And I think last year was a big step for the hookah community as a whole to move away from this negativity and come together and start doing meetups and start doing hangouts, because sometimes we forget, especially people who are, the leaders or the mouthpieces for these hookah groups. We need to be like, okay, listen, there's a new product. Let it do its thing. Now, as a mouthpiece for a hookah community, if they're going to do shady practices, if they're advertising it as something and people get it in their hands and it's something else, we need to advocately oppose that for false practices. But as far as product releases, let them release it. Let them release whatever they want, and the community will come out and say it. But don't influence people within your community before you even have the product in hand. I will never say, oh, this product sucks. Oh, do I have one? No, but I heard. I saw some pictures and stuff like that. That's not how you're supposed to do it. And I think that's reviewing 101. That's maybe me coming from a reviewing background. I'm not going to go to Adrian and be like, oh, did you see this new pipe? Oh, this shit sucks, right? And who am I to speak on it if I've never tried it, never seen it, never held it, never used it, to say anything? Because what happens is that you're a mouthpiece and people are going to believe what you're saying regardless. You by saying something negative before you even try the product are automatically going to sway at least 1 or 2 people easily. Yep. And I think it's your responsibility. I hate using the term civic duty, but if you are a community leader and you are pushing out, content where people are viewing this and people are looking at you towards, some type of leadership or some type of direction and where their money in their wallet is going to go, you need to be very careful of what you say, because you can come off as like, a hater for no reason, and I mean, that's just it. But I mean, it is what it is. There's always going to be new pipes, new hoses, new hookahs, whatever, across the market that we've already seen. How many different times can you be creative with these products, really?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it takes a very special individual to make something. Like, look at Brandon George, look at Nino, look at Kyle Smith. When they come out with products, people are waiting around the block with their wallet out, be like, here's my money, please. But it's just they can't meet the demand. So when someone comes up and says, hey, here's a new product, you can't be like, oh, well, screw you, fuck you, like, get out of here. We already know what we like. Give them a shot. And if they suck, villainize them on them sucking, and that should in turn make them create a better product.
I like that. I think that's a good way to look at it, honestly. Adrian spoke about it a little bit during the last episode of Technical Difficulties. What else would you like to say about it?
Yeah, I went out on Hazy Bowls a little bit in Technical Difficulties for a few reasons. The one thing I didn't like is they were very reminiscent of Stone Bowls. And a lot of the points that both you and Chris and some people in chat have made are very valid when looking at in that direction. Because a lot of the innovation is just improving upon things other people have already done. And I think in a small community like this, in a small market, there's something to be said for that. One thing I did notice on Hazy Bowls when I was kind of browsing their selection of bowls and stuff, and I haven't tried one, so take everything I'm saying with a few grains of salt. It doesn't look like things are quite up to the quality of the other bowls that share a price point. $65 is a price that I saw quoted for a bowl that I saw on there, and that's dangerously close to Stone Bowl's asking price, while not having the same level of, from what I can see in their pictures, that is, quality as far as is the rim level, is the spire level, is everything up to snuff. I will say they look very cool. I've seen a few different products that look like they may have been heavily inspired from a couple of other existing brands. I've got a negative first impression from what they've put out currently. I've kind of made the decision that I'm going to have to go out and buy one and really look into this bowl because a lot of good points have been made, and I'm not going to say anything too deep into the subject on how I feel about it. I'm also going to say that I'm not going to apologize for what I said on Technical Difficulties. I will say that I'm going to try the bowl before I actually make a final judgment. Because if he's doing something right, and I think what Chris said about the availability issue with all these really good creators out there selling out, not everyone can get the stuff, there is room for more people to come in and do stuff like out of their garages.
Exactly, and I think what Adrian's saying is exactly true. I mean, if you go to Hazy Bowl's website, the shit's sold out. So if everyone hated these bowls and was against it, how did he sell out? He sold out of his bowls. So he maybe has like one or two left last time I checked. But thing is like this. People are going to try them. If they're bad, they're bad. I do agree with you, Adrian. From the pictures I saw, from the initial pictures, I was like, oh, man, like that glaze isn't complete all the way around. There's some patches on it, or the glaze doesn't really hold up in the picture. But you know what? It's real easy for us to be like, oh, well, that's not Stone Bowl. That's not Nino's bowl. That's.
And that might be an unfair kind of example to set them at. The only reason I do that is because they're insisting that their price point should be the same as the competitors who are, in our opinion, probably objectively, the high end of luxury bowl.
I think you're absolutely right. I think the thing is like this. If the price point is at that, it must be the material he's using. I don't know. And the glaze he's using. That's the only reason I think he can justify the $65. But a first-time creator should have came out, in my opinion, with something around $45 price point, something a little bit more reasonable to bring the people in. But with that being said, at $65, he sold out of like 90% of his stock already, which is still impressive.
Yeah.
I'm going to get one because the colors actually look outstanding. If the bowl does perform, I think I'm going to do a whole video on the bowl and really dive a little deeper. And I think everyone who is a creator or even just post on Facebook should do the same thing. If they put it out, and if you're one of the people that's watching the polls and you're watching this live or on the rebroadcast, go on to the Facebook, go on to the social media, let everyone know what you think.
Yes.
Yeah, it's one of those things where the price point, like for us, we're like, oh, that's a high price point. But you look at Derek Moses's hose, right? People like are turned off maybe by the price point, but I'm like, this is the best fucking hose that I own. Like this hose, when people come over, when I have guests over, when Frank Cephalou comes over or any of my friends come over, guess what fucking hose I have out to present because it's my favorite hose and it's the best performing hose. It's the fucking Derek Moses hose. And I bought multiple hoses from him. And the price point justifies the quality you're getting. Now, if the price point's high and then you get the bowl and there's something wrong with it, then that's something you have to take up with the person you bought it from, the manufacturer, a third-party seller, or anything like that. But, I mean, it's weird with these price points. Like, I always feel like stuff gets higher and higher, but maybe it's justifying the cost somehow. I don't know. It depends on the product you buy.
Yeah,
We'll have to try the bowls for ourselves, right?
Yeah, I think that there is a couple interesting looking bowls. I do think the glazes look kind of nice. When I first looked at them, I did think that they were very reminiscent of other bowls. I think upon staring at them a little bit longer, I do think that they have their own little stylistic look to them. I just don't think that I am personally into the style that he went for more than anything. I do eventually would like to get one. I didn't get in on any of the first run bowls that were well made. And I say that because the stuff that's left over are the things that are very crooked. The stuff that's left over does not look like it's justifiable from somebody like me that wants to like add something into my collection that I want to actually spend the money to do that with, or to give him and say like, yeah, this is worth that value. You know, my biggest thing about he has one bowl on there for $45 that's cracked, and he says don't use it with like a lot of like wet tobaccos. Well, I mean, even the driest tobacco is still wet, and if you're losing any of that air pressure with that as well, because the spire is not completely sealed up to the top point of it, like it's going to be a very airy session as well. Like there's issues in that regard. But once again, like I voted with my wallet, I didn't buy any. I'm going to wait till that next batch release and see if there's some improvements. My larger issue that I want to say is because I do want to see somebody that is taking the time to produce, create, and put his passion to a more meaningful way. I do wish that these bowls maybe weren't for sale. I feel like these bowls are those first runs where you are trying to still learn, get down your packed and all that kind of stuff, and you wait until your next, your second or third batch when things are made perfectly when you start to sell. Now, it's easy for me to say because I don't produce things, so I could just be wrong in that mentality. Sometimes the best sort of advice that you can give anybody is you're never going to be ready, so you got to go when you go, and that's about all you can do. A lot of people have said like, well, this is his first batch, and I said I get that, but like, is this your first impression that you want to make? With that said, me and Adrian's first impression of the AM Hookah Podcast may not have been the best, but it got us to the point in which we are today. So you do have to start somewhere. So I completely agree with that, obviously. I think it's...
I mean, and also, in all fairness, like, don't get me wrong, there are some of the bowls that you can definitely be like, that I know where he got the inspiration for that. I've seen that before. But not all of the bowls are copies. He has some creativity in there. He has a couple. There's a purple... I just brought it up here. There's a purple and white bowl here, and it almost looks like a base, like a vase you would see. It's something a little bit very creative. But hey, listen, anyone who has hazy bowls, let me know how they perform. Like Matt, I'm going to be waiting to see what the initial feedback is before I say anything on it.
Yeah, and
and I wish him the best.
I trust Jeremy Bird from Hookah University extremely when it comes to bowls, because I know that he has an extensive collection. He's tried many different things with many different styles of bowls. I trust Kyle Smith a huge amount when it comes to bowls. He actually creates them. He knows things about these on a different level, obviously. And both of them said that they smoke very good, and they're very good bowls. So obviously, like, I'm going to take those guys at their worth because I trust those guys. I don't think that they're going to get anything positive from this, a kickback of some bizarre sense. So like, I trust those guys a ton, obviously. So that's a big part for me. I'm gonna wait till the next batch though. I'm not gonna spend my money on a bum bowl just to support the guy.
When I was kind of developing my opinion, I wasn't actually aware that a few of those high-end bowl makers did drop their opinions on how they perform. So that's definitely worth noting, like you said. And on a high note, those purple glazes on those bowls are drop dead gorgeous.
I know you love purple. I know you do.
Yeah. Do you guys feel like the whole stem of this conversation comes from, think community leaders maybe jumping the gun, going with like their gut instinct? Because like, listen, like Matt says, it's good to be a little biased. You want to protect your friends. You want to make sure that like people aren't ripping them off. We've done it before with Turkish bowls in the past, where people come from other countries and try to fucking say, hey, look at this new product we have out. It's like, wait, you mean the product that you asked for free and then stole and then copied that and then trying to sell back to the U.S. market? Good try. Stick your thumb up your ass. We're not buying. But this being a U.S. creator, I think we should just ride it out, not jump the gun, not immediately be like you're a villain because we've already seen products like this. Come up with something else. If your bowl doesn't have a unicorn horn sticking out of it, then I don't want it. But I think we definitely need to be advocates for fostering the community of people who want to create stuff, because look at the community people who are making stuff now. There are people within the community that are being like, you know what, I had this idea for a while. I talked to people in the community. I'm gonna make this thing. I'm gonna take all these ideas and stuff from all these different people and make a product for the people that I hang out with, that I smoke with. And I think that's the one thing for 2019. Let's try to foster more people within the community to like inspire them. Not because now there's probably people, who knows, there might be someone in your chat right now who has an idea, or is like, you know what, I think I want to make a hose, or I want to make a hookah and stuff, and they've seen this stuff with Versatile Hookah about, you know, getting fucking rim jobbed and being villainized just because you want to create a product, and all you want to do is give back to the community and maybe put a little couple dollars in your pocket, because you know the market you're not going to become rich. You're not going to be a millionaire. I'm sorry. If your name is not Hookah John, that time has passed already. So,
reason what you do, you can maybe make a living. Maybe.
Maybe make something, be a part of the community, be a creator of something that you love and stand behind your product. I want to like get those people and be like, hey, listen, like we support you. We want you to grow, because if you grow, we fucking grow. You know, if anyone does something successful in the hookah community, we can support them. As the hookah community as a large in the United States grows, we all succeed. That means you guys get more eyes on your podcast. You know, Adrian's going to get more eyes on his reviews. We're going to go to more expos. We're going to have more meetups. And that's what it's about. And that's what I've been preaching forever. It's like we need to, like, you know, get that positivity. You can have your own opinion. It's fine. You can have opinions that you say on air and opinions that you have your own. Whatever, that's fine, but we need to like really come together if we're gonna have this whole hookah thing, you know, stick around for the long term in the United States.
I think we said quite a bit on it. I think that it's a really good conversation. Honestly, I hope that we talk more hazy bowls in the future. I think that this all stems, honestly, from a very positive place. We want to see success for people that are good and earnest and good people, obviously. I think that's a pretty important thing as well. So I just want to make sure that it's known that we're not trying to take shots or throw shade or anything crazy like that. Like, this is a positive atmosphere that we're trying to foster and say these things from, because we do want to see success from people that are wanting to push their passion and doing something good with it.
And a little call to action from that, because obviously we do need to wind down from this topic. But I think the best note to probably leave it on is I think both you and Chris made really good points, Matt. And I think especially myself and Matt and a lot of the other people in the community can afford to be a little more gentle when someone tries to enter the market, at least at first. You know, if it turns out they're scumbags, skewer them after you know.
Yeah, the cream will always rise to the top, as I like to say. I don't know if that's a saying before this moment right now. I probably just invented it. Follow me into the dark, because that's what I do. Yes, exactly. That's how I suggest it. Are you drinking like Donald Trump? Not getting into politics. Not getting into politics. No.
Okay. All right.
No.
All right, we'll go.
I'm
getting fucking loose. You want to fucking go? We'll go. I'm ready, baby. You got me on now. I'm 2 beers in. Let's do this shit. Fucking, I'll talk about shit all fucking day. It's gonna be a fucking 9-hour podcast. I give no fucking fucks. All right, let's do this.
Oh my god.
What's the next topic? Bring that shit on. Let's go.
The next topic is about gaming and smoking. Let's get into this a little bit. Chris, you're a pretty awesome Twitch streamer, gamer, and you like to do that kind of stuff. I want to ask you, what got you into streaming to begin with?
Having a computer and being able to have decent internet connection. No, I love fucking interacting with people. I love talking to people. I love hanging out with people. You know, I have a lot of time at home. I have a hand injury, so I reallocated all my time from being a fucking sports guy to being a fucking full-blown nerd. I gave the nerd, I was like, here you go. This is your time to shine. Let's go. Let's push it forward. We're going to do this gaming thing. And I just went with it, and I just love talking to people about, like, how the day is and how they are. You know, I love just all that shit. Communication is like great, man. And I feel like if I can interact with someone, a complete stranger, on something that I like, and we find a mutual understanding that there's something that we both like and we can connect. We might have 2 different walks of life, 2 different outlooks on what we think, but gaming or hookah bonds us together. That shit excites me, you know, and that's what it's all about. Like my Twitch stream is all about just having a fucking good time, fucking relaxing, fuck. But I love that I could say fuck on this. But fuck. But I love the overall atmosphere. You just gotta, like, you know, fucking good vibes, bro. Fucking like the dude says, man, you're fucking with my shit, bro.
This is not
just be chill, just fucking relax, have a good time, fucking relate with people on something that you love, and it all fucking stems out from there.
This is
and
not
if they don't want to do that, fuck them.
This is not the episode that I can let my daughters listen to. I need to make sure that I tell them, no, you can't watch this week's episode of the podcast. We had a potty mouth on the episode, and he is not.
It's not my fault. I'm from New York.
Okay. I got a funny story that I'm going to tell real quick about Chris, very briefly, and then we'll jump into the next question.
Very subjective. That's subjective. We're gonna be the fucking judges of that. That's like saying, like someone says you're an asshole, and it's like I'm not an asshole. That's not for you, the fucking judge. That's for everyone else to judge. But go ahead, Matt.
So we went to this restaurant, me, Chris, Paul, Eddie. I think Bracken was there as well. I don't know if there was somebody else that tagged along with us, but we went to a sushi restaurant. We had to go to a different one because it turns out they didn't have the stuff that we were wanting, and they looked like they maybe couldn't handle our group or whatever. But there was this group of a mom, a dad, and like a daughter and like a son or something. And like I figured like when we walked into this restaurant, we were all gonna like, tone it down a little bit. No, Chris walks through the front door and he's just like, what the fuck's going on in here? And we get closer to this family, and all of a sudden he's just like, I don't know if this fucking place can fucking deal with the fucking shit that we're fucking trying to fucking do. It's just fucking crazy, guys. I don't know if we're fucking gonna eat here or fucking not gonna eat here. What the fuck? And I just couldn't believe it. I was like, this guy never.
That's not true.
That
I said
so
two more fucks at least in that conversation, so it's already false. But yeah, that was a great time in Vegas where we went out to eat and we just stuffed our faces. I didn't know Eddie being as
silent eater.
He will just eat a whole boat of sushi on his own. I was just like, it got to the point where it's like uncomfortable, where you're sitting there, you're done, you're being polite, you're just, chilling out, you're relaxing, and you're like, okay, I'm full, he's full, and these motherfuckers are still ordering food. And I'm like, and now they're having a conversation with the waiter, asking them how much more food they have in the back. I'm like, yo, guys, it's time to fucking go. What are we doing here? Let's leave. Like, like we're being rude. It's because it was all you can eat. But there's a freaking limit on all you can eat. Like, they're eyeballing you from the kitchen, right?
Eddie, it sounds like.
And Eddie is just stuffing shit into his face, and I'm like, all right, we're ready to go. And they're like, no, I just ordered 2 more plates. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, we have to leave. That was disrespectful, eating all the sushi. Jesus Christ, people have no manners.
It was wonderful. Adrian, you want to get
about being disrespectful, Chris?
Yeah, I don't know the word.
You want to?
That's maybe a reword, a rebranding of that wouldn't be bad.
Do you want to ask the next question?
The term
Adrian?
means something different out here.
Yeah. Chris, okay, I'm gonna pretend I know where we are and ask. Matt, did you just ask him what got him into streaming?
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm so enamored with the B-roll of this conversation.
I like how I don't answer any of the questions. I just like circle around with a different story.
It turns out you're gonna be a politician, I guess.
Our question that's queued up to ask fucking Chris is fucking where are the fucking reviews, right? But I think he did a good job of answering that question earlier.
Yeah, the thing is like this. Like, Adrian, I've told you before in Vegas, the moment you lose the passion for doing reviews, because it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, it's going to reflect in your work. And I didn't want my videos to suffer because I wasn't into it anymore. I'm still in the hookah. I'm still in the hookah. I still love everything hookah. It's just producing reviews. You got to sit down. You're writing notes, and I think these guys have seen the notes. I've like huge, long, 1-page freaking essays, and you got to take stuff off. You got to put stuff on. You got to make the video entertaining. It's a lot of work. I do want to get back into it. It's rough, man. Like, I don't know how you
have your script book, man.
I don't know how you do it. That's why I have the utmost respect for Matt and Adrian to be able to do a podcast every week, produce content, make it entertaining. And I think your views and your numbers show, that you guys are doing something good. It's very hard.
By the way, the party is now going to get started because I noticed that Travis Leader is in the chat as well. What is up, Travis? How are you doing? Obviously, the man, the myth, the legend right there. I don't talk to Travis as much as I used to. We need to get back in contact, Travis. Me and you, we got to talk more. It's been far too long since we've had a good conversation. It's been far too long since me and Chris has had a good conversation, man.
It's true. Travis says, I also felt the reviewer fatigue. Well, Travis, there's always a market to do another Husick video, so go at it, brother.
Yeah, for sure.
That music. I heard they're coming out with a new one that also has like a toilet paper roll holder on it. And
all right, we're gonna jump over this. Chris, next question for you. What do you think? What do you think is the best game to play while smoking? And then, in hindsight to that, or in opposite of that, what is the worst game to play while smoking? What is the best game to play while smoking? What is the worst game to play while smoking, in your opinion?
That's I guess that's a hard question. I think something that really isn't great for smoking is World of Warcraft, because you can get so into it, like that you forget that your hookah's there. You need something that in a game where you can have a lot of breaks, and I felt like the way I grind in World of Warcraft, it's not gonna happen. But I don't know. It's really depends. Like we play a lot of Smite, we play a lot Duck Game, we play a lot of different games. So I think I've gotten a good mesh. The thing is like this: when you play a game, sometimes it takes your attention away from the hookah, and then before you know it, your bowl is cashed out, and then you're like, oh, I have to make another bowl. I only had 15 puffs out of this thing. So it's very subjective on the person who's playing the game. But it's something relaxing. Like when you have a long day of work and you come home, and I know Adrian could probably speak on this. When you play like a board game or stuff, like sitting there just relaxing and chilling, like it's the coolest thing ever, man. I love it. I love playing games and smoking hookah. It's the shit. I'm gonna keep smoking until my throat falls out.
Yeah, I have an addendum to answer that question.
Okay.
Enter the Gungeon's the worst fucking game to smoke and play hookah. Smoke and play video games.
Well, just don't play Catan with friends. That's how you ruin friendships. What do you mean I have no fucking wood? This is the fucking worst map ever. Fuck this. Fuck your dice. I'm out of here.
God.
You know, and Catan is a game kind of like Monopoly, where it's just a game of fuck. The ultimate game of fuck. And you just lose friendships. I've played games of Monopoly with friends where we're just like, you know what? I didn't know you were this type of scumbag. Log off.
Wow.
All right. Adrian, you want to ask that last question on the gaming topic?
Shit. Yeah. Fuck. Hey, Chris. Do you get a buzz much, and does that affect gaming?
Do I get a what? The fuck you say?
Do you buzz, and does it affect gaming?
Do I buzz?
I didn't write that fucking question.
I said, do you get a buzz much? Yeah, from your tobacco. Do you get a buzz much, and does that affect gaming?
Come on. I don't get a buzz. Fucking.
Who knows?
I fucking Nirvana fucking bullshit. If I had some goddamn dark side, which I can't get my hands on it, there's no way to get some supernova. I'll tell you what. Dark side gets a rep for being overhyped. You guys have smoked dark side.
It's so good.
I like it.
Dark side supernova, best mint you ever had?
It's not a mint. It's a methyl. It's such a mint flavor that you just add to whatever it is you're smoking, and it literally
here's
affects
a story
everything.
About that in Vegas. So we made a bowl in Vegas. I'm gonna take over the show. Hold on, let me get the fucking camera close here.
Oh no.
What we're gonna do is talk about Matt's supernova bowl that he had, right? So, was it who? Oh, Jeremy Bird, Mr. Jeremy Bird from Hookah University. Decided, he looked around, he did a couple of these. I knew what was up. He was making a bowl to make your balls explode or just fall out of your pants and roll away, because this wasn't a bowl for the lighthearted. No, not at all. This was a bowl that was going to fuck you sideways. He made a bowl of supernova with about 3 coals on it. I tell you this.
I think there was 5.
Motherfucker. I think we started with like 4 coals or something like that, right? Yeah. We took a puff. But out of respect, we gave it to Hookah Frank, as you do to your elders, to the people who were run down and broken and have no feet left. So we gave it to Hookah Frank, master of Tangiers, grand conspirator of all things Tangiers, right? King of cane mint, right? We gave it to him. His lung literally came out of his mouth. He had to ingest it back into his face because it was so strong. I'll tell you what, Dark Side Supernova, you dense pack that thing with 4 coals, you're going to feel it in your chest 3 days later, in your ears 2 days later, and your mind is going to go boom elsewhere. It is so strong. You shouldn't be smoking hookah, right? If after you're done smoking hookah, you feel it in your chest, your ears, in the back of your head. That's not tobacco, ladies and gentlemen. That's some type of fuckery. That's witchcraft. That is some kind of Russian oligarch, Putin, bowl magic that we've never seen here. That shit is so fucking good. I still think about it. My eyes roll to the back of my head when I think about supernova. I fucking love that shit. Okay, next question.
Oh my god, I don't even know where we're at anymore. I wanted to ask you some more stuff about gaming, but I think we'll move on to some community topic. If you guys have any questions that you'd like to ask Chris right now, the best thing to do is to drop a couple of question marks before your question. Drop them down there. Bracken or Captain Wetbeard will be able to find them and point us out to them. We'd really appreciate that, obviously. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is actually about the community role that you have taken in Hookah University. Obviously, you were just a member, then you became a moderator in there, and now you are a full-on admin. What has changed about your role inside of the hookah community based upon that?
Hold on 1 second. I'm writing you guys questions.
Oh God, here we go. Adrian, how do you maintain that long hair?
Chris, you could have asked us that vocally. I just wake up and I look in the mirror and I go, not today. And I do that every day.
Wait, Matt, there's a question for you.
Oh, it says, Matt, how do you get your curls in your hair? They're just natural, man. They appear. It's about time for a haircut, because if I let it go any longer, then I'm going to start getting my afro back, and it's about time to get a haircut for me. Let's put it that way.
I want you to not cut it till Vegas is done, and I won't too.
Maybe that's what we'll do. Maybe we'll cut it in Vegas together.
Frank Cefalu's asking, what is he the doctor? What doctor is he? I'm the doctor of ass whoopings when you open up that duck game and you're like, oh shit, I have this virus in me. It seems to be that I'm losing all my matches. Oh shit, the doctor's here.
The doctor.
And that's what I'm the doctor for. I'm the doctor of whooping your motherfucking ass in duck game. That's how it is. Okay, so what was your question again?
The question was, now that you are an admin in Hookah University, what has changed for you, going from member to moderator to admin?
Well, what's changed for me is I check Facebook a lot less, because it's a headache being a moderator of anything. But I think what I started off as a community member, Hookah University, Travis and Jeremy Bird brought me on because they saw my reviews and they saw what I was bringing to, I guess, the community as a whole as far as content, and they wanted to bring that to Hookah University. They wanted to foster like that real like camaraderie and stuff. And I think what's really changed is that I've become more laid back in my approach to products. Like I've been telling you guys, like I'm not so opinionated as more. I kind of like let things go and then moderate it from there. Like let something come out, let people judge it, let people talk about it, get the product myself, and then talk about it. I realized that I have a very significant mouthpiece being part of HU, and I do not want that to be for the negative at all. I want it to be positive. If there's new people, like say, I don't know, say jroc. Jroc, buddy. I got to meet him. I like jroc. So say jroc today, his balls are tingling and he decides to do hookah reviews tomorrow. I'm going to be fully supportive. I'm not going to be like, oh, he drops his first review and I'm going to be like, oh, that was shit. Please destroy your web camera and never speak again. Become a mute. Go to a monastery and just live your life out. I'm not going to do that. And there's people within the community that do that. And my sole goal as a community member in HU is to be like, to encourage people. And if there's people who want to hate speech and really put down other people, I'm going to make sure those people don't have a platform to speak on. Get the fuck out. So my main thing, I think I've gotten a little bit more patience. I've taken a back seat more to hookah communities because I see everything behind the scenes now and I see all that bullshit. So I see the full picture now. So it's a little bit different of a approach I have towards how I present myself.
Okay, very nice. jroc, by the way, I'm still waiting for you to start those Fantasia reviews. That's what I want to see him start tackling, is a series on nothing but Fantasia, because I trust his opinion on all that every time.
Was it F4 is the spearmint or something like that? I think that's a really good Fantasia mix.
F8 is one of his favorites.
Fantasia series over on Pipe Dream Hookah, man. Come on.
Do it. Yeah, that'd be absolutely fantastic. We actually have a question from jroc that I'd like to ask, because he asked it in the chat, dropping a couple of question marks before it so that we knew that he was wanting to ask a question. He says, are you thinking about getting a Shisha Bucks cloud stem anytime soon that just dropped? Have you guys both seen what the cloud stem looks like, either of you?
Is this the way it looks?
Is this the stem or the hose?
The stem. They
the
dropped
stem,
a new...
No, I've not seen it. I've only have a Shisha Bucks Micro, and I love it. It's a good travel thing. It fits all inside. It's made of like plexiglass. I have nothing against what Shisha Bucks is doing. I think their travel hookahs are some of the best hookahs. I know Jewel has one, and she brought one to Vegas the first time I met her. And I think they work. They work for what they are. Obviously, you're not going to put a shisha box up to a Matt Pear or a DSH, or you're not going to put it up against a Regal. It's not that type of hookah. It's a different type of product.
Very good travel hookah, like stellar.
Yeah, very good. I mean, the thing is like this. Whenever I travel and I have glass with me, I'm always sweating. Like I can feel the beads of fucking sweat on my ass cheeks because I don't know if the fucking hookah is going to break, and I'm so terrified. But with shisha bucks, you don't need to worry about that.
Yeah. So the Storm is actually a full-on pipe piece that looks like a regular style hookah, but it has a really nice aesthetic look to it. Adrian, you've seen what it looks like. What are your thoughts on it?
I like the way it looks. I actually saw Zach was talking about it a little bit ago. I can't say anything too much about it because I haven't smoked it.
Yeah.
But I have smoked out of the Cloud 1 and the Cloud. I own a Cloud Micro. The Micro's got an airy smoke. I think that has to do with the purge system on that. It's got the 4 purge balls in the corners. I feel like maybe they don't always lock. So you get a bit of an airy smoke. Also, the tank's a strange shape. But for the most part, as long as you're not trying to compare it to like the really high-end stuff that we use all the time, I think Cloud is one of the better hookahs you can pick up if you actually move around with the hookahs a lot. I take mine to my drummer's house every time I go there. I actually leave it there now. And comes with a case. So I love the Micro for that reason. As far as the Storm, I think I got to pick one up. But they're aesthetically pleasing. So it'll, at very least, look good over there on my shelf with my other pipes.
Yeah, I think they look really cool. I'm excited to see Strictly Shisha Zach's review for it because I'm sure he's going to do a stellar job, and he always kind of gives me a good idea of what it is that they're producing and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see that, see more information about that pipe. I think it looks really cool as well, obviously. So here's the next question for you, Chris. What is the future of Hookah University? Do you know anything about it at all? Should I be talking to Travis Leader in the chat more than you?
Well, we all kind of attached on the hips, even though we disagree at times, and we love each other, but we give each other shit constantly. I think that's the basis for our whole like friendship is just giving each other shit. So Hookah University, we're going to be doing a meetup in Florida. I think it's Pompeo, Florida. It's close to Miami. So if you're a Florida resident, please come down in May. I don't have the dates off the top of my head. I know there's a flyer around, but if you check Hookah University, it is posted up there. I think Hookah University as a whole, we love meetups. We love meeting new people and getting people to come out and really experience like what it is to be a part of a huge group and just hang out and talk about things you like to talk about. I think we find most of our satisfaction in HU at the meetups, just sitting there, bullshitting, talking, drinking, whatever else happens stays at the frat house. But that's it, man. We don't have too much crazy stuff where it's like we have these grand ideas of like we want to take over the world. We're a hookah community for the people in the community. You have a question, you come talk to you type it in, put it on Hookah University, and we're going to answer it to the best of our ability. There might be some memes that follow, but no one's going to do it maliciously, and they try, you let me know, and boom, they're gone, bitches.
All right, I'll let you tackle the last question, Adrian.
You're so gracious, man.
I try.
You're the best. Sometimes I love you, sometimes I don't. Hey, Chris.
Adrian.
When's the fucking classroom coming back, buddy?
Well, the thing is like this. With the classroom, I always used it as to bring something to the community that like a hot topic or something that really needed to be talked about. Like, hey, you always heard about this product, but you don't know who the face is behind this product. Like you heard of Superior Coals, but you never who runs Superior Coals, or you heard about Shaman Coals, who runs Shaman Coals, or you got the expo coming up, you want to know more information. Thing is like this. I really got to do a lot of great interviews with a lot of people using the classroom as a platform, but I didn't want it to become a no knock on you guys, but I didn't want it to become a weekly thing where if I didn't have like a super big point that I wanted to talk about, I felt like I just didn't want to use the platform at all. Like it's completely different from what you guys do here. Like you guys are able to make a show. You could literally talk about a bottle for like an hour and make it super fucking entertaining and put some real good fucking production and real good fucking conversation pieces into it. I can't do that with the classroom. It was just like, it was weird, man. Like if I didn't have a specific topic, then I just didn't do it at all. And it's just very hard for me because I'm kind of a little bit of a perfectionist when it comes to like, okay, I gotta have this, I gotta have this, I gotta have this. So if the classroom was made on 3 parts, if one of them wasn't there, then I couldn't do the whole thing. Oh, oops, sorry, but I couldn't do the whole production. So once I'm lining more things up, I'm gonna have Jeremy Bird because his availability is through the roof, and he's a fucking great person to bounce ideas and topics off of. And that's one of the things I was missing when I was doing the classroom, was basically just me. And I know you guys are no strangers to be like, shit, what are we gonna do? And if you only have one person, it kind of becomes a lot harder to kind of put it all into production. You know, you got to get the guests, you got to get the date right, you got to be there, you got to have the open line of communication, you got to have the right topic. So once we figure out what we want to do, me and Jeremy have already been talking about possible things to bring the classroom back on. We will go forward, but there's no set times table. It's always like I kind of try to make it a thing that you want to tune into, that you can get a little bit of information that you didn't know before. Even if we talk about 10 things and you only didn't know that maybe one thing we didn't talk about, if you were able to take something from the classroom and be like, I'm more knowledgeable having watched the classroom, then I've done my job.
That's a good way to look at it.
I definitely need the classroom to come back, because the one problem with being in the AM Hookah Podcast is I can't sit down and watch podcast style format in the hookah realm very often. I kind of did that with the classroom, and I'm kind of pissed.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed all the episodes that we watched on it and stuff. It was especially, I like the way that you did phrase it, where you took the face behind a company and you allowed them to speak about their product. You know, one of my favorite ones was the one that you did with Omar from Alpaca Bowls. I thought that was absolutely fantastic.
I love Omar, and one of my favorite ones had to be the one with Brandon George and Badia. It was nice having Badia on, really picking his brain about the product, letting the people behind the product speak. Because a lot of times is that you see a product, you see a picture or whatever, and you don't know, you have nothing to identify with that product because you might not necessarily own it. So it's good to have the people who are producing the product to go out there and actually have a platform to speak on, not just like, okay, I'm going to open my Facebook and do a live, because that's not the same thing. You want them to have questions. You want them to also be a little bit pressured. You want to back them to the corner. Like I did one with Nino, and I love Nino, but sometimes I got to push his buttons a little bit when I talk to him. But like Omar was great. It was awesome, because being a fan of hookah for so long and pulling the trigger and being like, you know what, I want to do I want to do videos, I want to create content, and it allowed me as a person, as an individual, to meet the people behind these products and really I don't know, just like have that conversation with someone who normally, if I'm just sitting on my couch at home and I'm not putting any work or anything, I would have never got this opportunity to meet some of these people. Like I got to interview fucking Hookah John, Jake Jacobson, Brandon George, Badia. I got to talk to Omar and then eventually meet him. Like it's such an awesome experience to being able to interview these people and get to know them on a real basis.
Yeah, they're real people behind these products and stuff, and it's really cool to hear their actual thoughts and processes they go through to make these products and stuff. So I think that's always really phenomenal, obviously. I think that's about it that we have for the show. Adrian, is there any other questions that you can think to ask?
I've been fully sated. Thank you.
All right. So if people want to go and find you, Dr. Noobsauce, Chris, where can they find you on the internet, man?
Well, they can type in Dr. Noobsauce on Google. I think I have enough hits at this point that actually will come up if you type it. So that's my channel on YouTube. Right now it's all gaming, but I do have a catalog of a lot of different hookah topics, a lot of different hookah products as well. Or you can find me where I'm more of live, more of a face, and you can interact with me on a somewhat semi-daily basis at twitch.tv / or front / or whatever the slash is. Dr. Noobsauce, or you can always drop me a line on Hookah University. I will get back to you unless you're skeevy, and I just will ignore you because I'm afraid to catch something from you. But yeah, just shoot me a message.
Awesome. Okay, what about you, Adrian? Where can people find you on the internets?
Where am I? Oh yeah, Pipe Dream Hookah on YouTube. All kinds of hookah shit, unboxings, reviews, tutorials. Me talking about shit I don't know anything about. Over on Instagram, you can find me at Pipe Dream Hookah. But Matt, you can find us on Instagram as a podcast as well. on what was it? I can't remember what we are.
Just
on,
AM Hookah
Instagram.
Podcast.
Is it just the AM Hookah Podcast?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, it's pretty intuitive there.
Mm-hmm. You can
Oh, by
also
the way,
Matt,
guys, you have a message on here from Rose of Death. It seems like you guys should probably look at
Ooh,
that.
how do I?
Yeah, I saw
click
that.
on it, but it says link is expired.
Okay. So I will get you a new link for that for the Discord, Rose F Death. Don't worry about it. I will find a new one for you. What is up, Bridget? Hey, honey, don't let the kids watch this episode. Chris is a filthy mouth person. We cannot. Don't let Lillian watch this. Don't.
He likes to say,
Don't worry, Bridget. I gotta take good care of him in New York.
No, don't do
yeah,
this.
it's
No.
gonna be bad.
Oh God. My daughter came up to me and she said, "Hey, Dad, you should really act like who you really are when you're on the podcast." And I said, "I do. That's who I am." She's like, "No, Dad, you don't swear." And I said, "You're right. I should probably stop doing that. I shouldn't do that at all." So now I'm going to be in even more trouble. Don't watch this. Don't have the girls watch this. It'd be terrible. Don't do it. You can find the AM Hookah Podcast all over the internet. Obviously, you can find us on Twitter at AM Hookah Podcast. You can find us right here on YouTube at AM Hookah Podcast. You can also find us on Twitch, twitch.tv/AM Hookah. You can find us on the Facebook for both a page and a group. Join the group. I'm going to post the entire quotable comment from all the people that dropped awesome information and their thoughts and opinions of Hazy Bowls, as well with the Kyle Smith huge epilogue that he wrote as well. It's fantastic and it's worth a read, so I hope you guys go and check that out. It's going to be on the AM Hookah group probably immediately following this from dropping off. Let me think if there's anything else that I need to hit on that.
Can I say something really quick?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Your viewers, you guys make such a huge impact for AM Hookah Podcast. Please keep tuning in to the AM Hookah Podcast because they've come like such a long way from they got to do the podcast if one person was watching, but now you guys with all your support and everything, you give them like this validation, that they're doing something right, they're moving forward, and guys like Captain Wetbeard and jroc and all these people who've been watching since day one. And it's fantastic that you guys keep tuning in to their weekly podcast. Keep doing it because these guys definitely need your support to only grow bigger than they already are. And eventually, one day, hopefully, they will have a nice little booth at the Hookah Expo, and they can do a live podcast from the Hookah Expo, which would be really cool.
That'd be fantastic. That'd be absolutely wonderful. You can find me, Matt Dezen, on YouTube, just at Matt Dezen. You can find me on Instagram at OnlyMattDezen. You can find me on Twitter at OnlyMattDezen as well. Make sure you go and check out THL, the Hookah Lounge. They have some awesome stuff going on over there. And if you are not happy with the amount of hookah content that you're getting purely off of the AM Hookah Podcast, you can also find us for the Gamecast on Wednesday. You can find us for technical difficulties on Friday nights. And then also THL has a bunch of stuff that they do as well, including the State of the Smoke, which is on Thursday nights. You can find the Payday Podcast happening every other week. That is with Tommy and Eddie from the Hookah Lounge. And then you can also find Valhalla, which is a really cool documentary series where they talk about old school type things that are very, very niche, but very, very interesting as well. And you can find that happening on Saturdays as well. We are our own sponsors. If you'd like to go and check out some of the cool merchandise that we have over at Teespring, we highly recommend that you do that. Just head on over there and grab yourself a shirt or a pair of socks. It keeps Bracken's feet warm while he's down there in Florida. He uses them all the time. I'm sure he does. We have some other cool merchandise that's going to be coming up shortly as well. But yeah, there's just some cool stuff happening in the future between us and THL as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate it as always. And I think that's about it. So I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye. Keep on smoking.
Fuck.